Thank you, Brandon and Zion. I tell you, that's probably my favorite introduction ever. Short, sweet, and just done brilliantly. So thank you both for such a great introduction. What an exciting morning. I don't know about you, but I'm not used to bands welcome me to breakfast every morning, but that was great. It was, and it's so inspiring to be here with all of you that are supporting such a great organization. The only thing that I would make a slight suggestion on, though, if we could teach the band to play Rocky Top. I didn't even know marching bands play anything other than Rocky Top, but no, this has been great. Thanks for having me this morning. I've only got like 6 minutes, so I thought I'd try to make the time very useful. One of the things that KIPP is focused on is college prep. I'm in the higher education business. I want them to come to college, and yet higher education is under threat. The perception of higher education today is lower than it's been in decades, and for a lot of the wrong reasons. There's some myths out there that I would like to have you help me bust. I figure, what a better group than this to help go out and bust some myths about the value of a college degree. So I've got maybe 5 minutes left. If I'm going to give you 5 myths, and I'm sure all of you have heard these different myths. So the first one is, nobody's going to college anymore. Enrollment in college is declining all across the country. Well, that one's a little bit true because actually enrollment nationally is flat to down a little bit, but not in your state, not in the state of Tennessee. Across the state of Tennessee, 4-year college enrollment is up. I can speak specifically at the University of Tennessee. Our enrollment in the last 5 years is up 15%. Across the system from 54,000 students to 59,000 students. And we have a plan to go to 71,000 by the end of the decade. So myth number one, enrollment is up. More and more kids are going to university in the state of Tennessee than ever before. The second one, and this one you hear a lot, nobody needs to go to college anymore. You can get a great job without getting a 4-year degree. In fact, the best degree or best education you can get after high school is a technical certificate in welding or mechatronics or plumbing. That's where all the jobs are. Don't waste your time going to a 4-year school. Again, not wrong. So it's partially right. Some stats. Over the last decade in the state of Tennessee, there have been 90,000 fewer jobs created for people with just a high school degree. So obviously, if you just have a high school degree, your opportunities are getting smaller and smaller, and we pretty much all know that. Technical degrees and certificates, I'm a big fan. I used to be the Commissioner of Economic and Community Development working with factories all across the state, and they did need mechatronics certificates and welders and people with those skills. In the last decade, we've created 49,000 more jobs with people with those skills. So we definitely need more people getting certificates at our TCATs across the state. So it's important. However, over the last 10 years, there have been created in the state of Tennessee 361,000 more jobs needing a 4-year degree. Teachers, engineers, nurses, you name it. There's a whole range of jobs that require a 4-year degree. So there's a lot of numbers to remember if you're going back out busting myths. In the last decade, there's 7 times more jobs created needing a 4-year degree than a certificate. Again, we need certificates, we need all of the above, but it's false to say we don't need people to get a 4-year degree. Here's another myth, number 3. Did you know that the cost of tuition is going up faster than inflation? I've heard that probably 100 times. People keep saying that. Now, there was a time that was true, like in the early 2000s, but not in the last 5 years. In the last 5 years at the University of Tennessee, and I think this is true from all of our other colleagues across the state because we're all very competitive, over the last 5 years at the University of Tennessee, tuition has only increased by an average of 1% for the last 5 years. So if you think about it, inflation's been much higher than that. A college degree costs less relatively today than it did 5 years ago. So it is affordable. The fourth rumor or myth that you hear a lot is, well, if you go to college, you're going to end up with hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. Now, I get up in the morning and run on the treadmill, and I'm watching my favorite TV show, Bloomberg, and I'm watching my favorite guy, Tom Keene. And I love Tom Keene, but recently, in the last 6 months, he started going on this rant about the cost of college. And, well, if you go to New York University, it's going to be $80,000, and you're going to graduate with $200,000 in debt, and you're going to be working as a barista. Not true. So at the University of Tennessee, 47% of all of our students graduate with zero debt. So almost half graduate with zero debt. Of those that graduate with debt, the average debt is only $26,000, which is down from $28,000 5 years ago. So they're actually graduating with less debt now than they used to. And then finally, The other part is that college is unaffordable. It's just even if you could graduate or get in, but you can't afford a college degree. At the University of Tennessee, we created something called the UT Promise. And the UT Promise says this: if you make under $75,000 in household income, which happens to be 66.7% of the entire population of the state of Tennessee, if you make $75,000 or less, you can come to any one of our campuses completely free of tuition and fees. Now, we created that just 4 years ago. So those graduation stats that I shared with you about graduating with debt, that was before this came into play. So the percentage of students that are going to graduate with less debt and the percentage of students that have debt, that the amount of debt that they do have is going to go dramatically down over the next 5 years or so. So again, you can afford to go to college, you need to go to college, and we'd love for you to consider the University of Tennessee. I was just talking with Jade just a few moments ago at my table, and she was asking me, how many different degrees that we have at UT. We have about 300 different degrees. I'd love to have anybody's mobile number that hasn't made up their mind where they want to go. The most important thing for the students in the room, I'll close with this, is the most important thing when you're deciding where you want to go to college is go to a college that wants you, right? I mean, that's kind of obvious. You don't want to go to a college that doesn't want you. But how do you know? I mean, they'll send all these brochures and maybe give you a nice tour. But the only way you really know that a college wants you is if they send their president to breakfast with you. and he looks you in the eye and says, please come to my alma mater. So, thank you. Guys, it's an honor to be with you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here today, and thank you for supporting KIPP. What an incredible program. It's so inspirational. I appreciate everything that they do and you do for them. Thank you so much.